Hey, what is up, people? It is Ross Cessna from Daily Live Tarot Readings by Ross Cessna, coming at you live from Spiritual Phoenix Studios in Girard, Ohio. As you can hear in the background, got the instrumental reggae going. And I'm going to start off with a free card while I'm waiting for everything to get populated. And if you are watching this after it's aired, if you like my channel or subscribe to it, you'll know when I'm coming on, and then you can also get a free card. So we're going to flip this over, and this is from the Tao Oracle, and the card is Retreat, Timely Departure, Letting Go, Withdrawal, Reevaluation, Retirement, Don't Hesitate to Walk Away. And I think that's really, really important to remember. I'm going to take a sip of the coffee, then I'll get into this a little bit deeper. So many times we think that we have to keep struggling against these inevitable occurrences, but at certain times it is best to actually just walk away from things and conserve your energy so you can have new opportunities. But a lot of us don't want to admit that. A lot of us don't want to face that either. But one of the other things, though, is too, sometimes that retreat can be what allows you to come back and face it a little bit stronger and with a little bit more wisdom and a little bit more prepared than you would have previously. So don't view retreat as defeat. View it as the ability to come back and fight again another day. Now, one of the cool things about this deck is, if you notice in the bottom right corner here, there's these little I Ching symbols. I'm going to toss the coins and see how they change, and then based upon the changes, we're going to get another card from that. So, let's see. That one doesn't change. Bottom line doesn't change, and I go from the bottom up when I do it. And we're going to toss another one here. The next line does not change. May be hard for you at home to see these coins. That's okay. That one does change. Put a little mark there by that. And the next one doesn't change. And it doesn't change. And it doesn't change. So we only had one line change. And while I'm waiting for this to still populate, I'm going to share this in a couple different Facebook groups to see if we can get a little bit of traction and get somebody else to talk to here. Maybe we will, maybe we won't. It's the luck of the draw, right? I'm not really known yet, so it's hard to have my channel blowing up if nobody knows who I actually am. Okay, keep scrolling down. We will share this. Where are we going to share it to? We'll share it there. Where else? I'll share it there. And we're going to share it two more places, and I'll get back to this. And I apologize, because many of you will see this on a delay. But hey, this is what we've got to do at times. And we'll do one more share. Okay, and there we go. Now we'll look up what card it changed to. And we have 3 dashes, and then 3 lines. So it changed to card 12. Let me pull that bad boy up. And then we'll look at the specific number using the book, because these cards are impossible to remember all the information on it. But I'm sure we'll get something good still. This is a really neat system overall, and I really enjoy these cards. I use them oftentimes as quintessence cards to give a separate message, or to condense the message of a tarot card reading into a really tangible one at times, because sometimes things can get a little bit out there and there's so much information. It's nice to have some way to simplify everything and make it easily understood. So the card that comes up is actually standstill, alienation, a stalemate, stagnation, withholding, grinding to a halt, insensitivity, mistrust. This is a card that has come up for me so many times, and it's one of the more frustrating things. And sometimes I think that it's what we don't want, but it can also be incredibly beneficial to be able to pull back a little bit and integrate these experiences. And it's interesting how it comes up with retreat, because sometimes with the standstill, it is a pulling back in a sense. We're going to look at the line specifically that came up here in a second. Okay. If nobody comes on, we'll just keep rolling with what we got. Keep drawing some cards and see what comes up. So, for standstill, before getting into any finger pointing, look at yourself first. Try to understand where the creative principle may have become frozen within your own being. Be cool and detached when you look within to discern where you may be unconsciously responsible for the stagnation in order to avoid having to cope with change. And I mean, I think that's a very big message right there. Look at yourself to see how you might be creating this pause within everything. Where is the energy coming from? And I guess with me, like, I'm trying to avoid this, but even with doing this, maybe the sense of stagnation is coming from overindulging, from showing up too much already out of the gate with all of these videos. I don't know. I'm going to get into a couple tarot cards, and if nobody else comes on, I'm just going to move on with my day and get on to the next thing. So, let's see. This one came up yesterday too, which is interesting because I really shuffled it well. But we'll look at it again. So it's Page of Cups, synchronicity and creative. It's saying really tap into your creativity. Look at the synchronicities that are in front of you and see how you can access them to get the situations. Yo, can you get one, man? What's up, Lightworker Jeff? Yes, you can. I'll get you too, Xavier. That's what's up. Okay, so we'll go with Jeff first. Jeff, you got Queen of Bows. So I don't know what your question is specifically. That's Queen of Wands in traditional tarot. General energy is exuberance and vibrancy. It's typically a woman that has a great creative potential, but I would say that the issue that is facing a situation with them might be some unresolved shadow work or some other things that they have to face, because the Moon card comes up, and Moon for me is illusions, fear, subconscious, and shadow work. So you might be drawn to this person or in a relationship with this person already, but there's some work that needs to be done. Does that make sense, Jeff? While we're waiting for you to respond, Jeff, I'm going to grab Xavier one. Xavier wants to know how the interview is going to go on Friday and overall. So, given the cards that are here, Xavier, you have the Shaman, Queen of Cups, and Queen of Cups in reverse, and the Star card in reverse. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on there. She's very attractive, but sometimes we're attracted to the chaos and not attracted to the good situations. But Xavier, the shaman card coming up, or the magician in traditional tarot, tells me that you have the power and action to create the outcome that you want, but that things maybe aren't going to end up with you getting the job despite that. And the way that I would take that is that you have potential to get a better opportunity. Sometimes situations come up, not so much for us to be successful with them, but to give us the fortitude to do other things. Because the reason I say that, hey, what's up, Monica? The reason that I say that, though, is you have Queen of Cups in the reverse, and that's typically somebody going against their emotions and trying to go against the stream of things. In this deck, Queen of Cups traditionally, though, is calm, intuitive, and compassionate. And I would say maintain that, but also don't fight the way that the job might go. Just let it go. And then you have 17, the Star. Star normally is about hope and renewal, and I like to say destiny as well. But being in the reverse, I would say that you're not going to get the outcome that you want most likely, but it's actually going to be for the better. I don't view any reversals as negative. I view reversals as challenges, but getting two reverse cards in a yes or no tells me that it's most likely a no. And I'm also one of these people that doesn't believe that outcomes are necessarily fixed. I believe that because we have free will, we all have the potential to change outcomes and shift things. But given the other cards here, I wouldn't, in your case, try to shift stuff. All right, Lightworker Jeff, I'll get you another card here in a second, brother. Just finished up with Xavier. I'm going to grab Monica. Monica, do you want a card? And then I'll get to you, Jeff, all right? And Xavier, if you could, please share this video in another group or on your page or something like that if you found the reading helpful. And if anybody... Given that the card's the way that it came up, it said that you most likely won't get it, or if you do get it, it won't be what you think it is, and it's not going to be fulfilling. So real quick, since there's a couple people in here, if you do want to donate, you can contribute to my monthly goal. There's a link in the description. I would appreciate it, but it's not necessary. I do ask that you subscribe if possible, like the video, and comment. If you're on YouTube, you can subscribe by hitting the little logo in the bottom right corner and hitting subscribe. Super, super simple. Don't even have to leave the video. On Facebook, just like the page, obviously, and on any of the other platforms you're seeing me on, follow the necessary steps there. So, Monica, your card that you got is 10 of Arrows. It's actually 10 of Swords in traditional tarot. I'm going to give you the way that it's presented in this deck, and then talk about the traditional meaning of the card. In this deck, it's talking about instruction, and to me, I would say that this would mean find a mentor or continue to work with a mentor who's been helping you learn to direct your thought in productive and helpful ways. Okay, Xavier, I'll check back in with you, but get to the mentor who can help you direct your thought in helpful and beneficial ways, and that mentor could also be life experiences or situations in general. Now, the other aspect of this would be 10 of Swords, and 10 of Swords is about defeat, loss, and crisis, so it's this really, really uncomfortable and unpleasant experience that comes up. But the thing about it is it creates this situation where we're capable of great change, and that great change is kind of like a butterfly emerging from a cocoon. So the situation itself gives us the instruction that we need to learn to take better shots. And I hope that makes sense, Monica. But whatever you're going through right now, if it's a difficult situation, understand that it's guiding you to learn how to grow from the experience, or find a person who can help you direct where you're going. So, getting back to Lightworker Jeff, and then I'll hit up Xavier. Lightworker Jeff had asked, will he be financially stable? Cards are saying no, and the reason that I'm going to say that it's saying no is because of this. I'm going to turn all of these right side up so we can look at it more clearly. So, You have Four of Bows, which in this deck is called Celebration. It's Four of Wands in traditional tarot, and it talks about harmony, home, and marriage. So the way that I would say this is, how do I want to put this? Because it was reversed, sometimes you look for things outside of the local area or outside of the household to make you feel comfortable. That can create some chaos. And if not, it might just be this level of discontent at being at home more often. Then you have the Hermit or the Hooded Man. The Hermit's about introspection and self-reflection. Financial stability, you're very welcome, Monica. Financial stability is a result of making wise choices and not spending more than we make. Like, I've really struggled with it, but one of the main things that I've found by looking back at things is it comes down to my choices and living beyond my means in one hand, and then also how much am I saving. Begin saving 10% of everything you make and not spending beyond that, and you'll be better off. Because your question, will you be financially stable? The no is if you don't change your attitude or your approach to things, and introspection is one of the things that's going to help you. And then you also have the Wheel in reverse, which is about fortune and destiny and karma. But in reverse, it's saying that these things aren't going to come to you immediately. So, what's up, Shitoya? Yeah, you can definitely have a reading. Let me finish doing this, and then I have one other person I have to get back to. But the main thing with this is, if you're waiting for financial stability to come through fortune or just being gifted to you by the gods or whatever your personal belief structure is, no. You actually have to do the footwork, and you have to show up and put in the effort. So if you're not liking your current situation, take the actions that lead to what you need to do. Yeah, you got it, Shitoya. And if you could, please share this video in a couple other groups and like it, and like my page. I really appreciate that. I hope that makes sense, Lightworker Jeff. Not trying to harsh your mellow, dude, but also I really make it a point to be honest with what the cards are saying and how I see it. So, will you be financially stable? Not if you keep your attitude and actions the same, but yes, if you begin to really look at how you can make that happen. So, how will your move be on Thursday? Overall, move's going to bring you fulfillment, and also you're going to respect the whole process and kind of be grateful to be where you're at. Ultimately, it's going to be a good move for you in the long run. One of the things is you have Seven of Bows showing up in the reverse, or Seven of Wands. That's about competition or perseverance. Being in reverse, to me, it shows that it's the path of least resistance, and it's interesting. In this deck, though, it's called Clearance, where there's this obstacle moved out of the way. So the way that I would take this, although it traditionally it says, my mind just went blank. I'm so sorry. Traditionally, although it says competition and perseverance, and this with the clearance being in reverse, I would say that there's some kind of obstruction that might make the move a little bit more challenging, but in the end, you're going to be fulfilled and you're going to respect the whole process. And Shitoya, if you want to ask your question, because there's a little bit of a delay, I'll get to you as soon as I'm done doing this. But then back to Xavier. So then you have Three of Bows or Three of Wands. That's about preparation and foresight. One of the things that's going to make the whole move easier is having the foresight to navigate the situation and being prepared to move there, and to make healthier choices overall. Threes are about communication too. So this is really about communicating with yourself as to the obstacles that you might face, and as to, what's the word I'm looking for? What it entails in the whole movement. I hope that makes sense. And then finally, you come down to Nine of Bows or Nine of Wands, and it's about resilience and persistence. This is a really good card to have, and it actually ties into, what's up, Jikari? I can't really read that clearly, but it ties back into kind of what I was telling Lightworker Jeff, in the sense that if you have this tenacity and you're resilient to what's occurring, you'll be fine. But it also comes into self-reflection and being honest with yourself and where you're at. Absolutely. So for my people on Facebook, if you want a card, if you could share this video into a group, I would really appreciate it. And if you are on YouTube, if you could like and subscribe to my channel, I would appreciate it. Just hit the little mushroom in the bottom right-hand corner. And Shatoya was next, but she didn't really come up and ask a question. So I'm just going to draw a card for Shatoya just in case she's there. And then I'm going to hit up Jakari and then Joanna, I think it is. So Shatoya, and you guys can ask your questions. Is that better now? Better? Ooh, now it's loud as hell, huh? Check, check. If you guys can comment and let me know if it's working okay. Okay. Let me move this microphone out of the way again. Yeah, I guess it hooked up to my Bluetooth. So real quick, Shatoya. Card that came up for you, Three of Cups. Three of Cups in reverse. This is normally about friendship and community. Being in reverse, though, that would tell me that you don't feel comfortable or you don't feel connected to some people, and it's blocking your happiness. Main message for you overall is that you're beginning to process a lot of this stuff and understand that happiness comes from within by the choices that you make and by the people that you're around. But the big thing is changing how you perceive the outside world and getting around people that actually lift you up and make you feel happy and make you feel content, and not wasting your time for people that don't contribute to what you're all about. Does that make sense? And then for Jakari, you had asked about adding the person on Snapchat. I don't have it where I can pull up the old question. But you had asked about the person on Snapchat. Given the cards that have come up, I'm going to say this. I really don't think that it's going to go well, because you have 5 of Swords, which is a no card, and then you also have 7 of Cups, which is a no card, and then you have the Judgment card that comes up. Yeah, I don't think it's going to go well. So you have frustration on one sense, where there's the sense of maybe not wanting you to make advances on them, or not feeling comfortable in a sense of where you're trying to get their attention and they're just not into it. Because if you look here, all of these little arrows are thoughts, and it's putting all of this energy towards this person, and this person is just avoiding it. So I would say that that's somewhat concerning, where it might not work in your favor. You might need to pull back and play it cool. Then we transition to 20, which is Judgment. And this one, the way that I would take this, typically this card is about cleaning your slate and feeling good or feeling better about yourself overall. But given this, I would say that you might feel better about yourself by looking at doing similar behavior in previous circumstances, maybe not with her specifically, but with other people, and seeing how it worked out for you. And if you're questioning it, I really wouldn't proceed with it. Then you come to 7 of Cups, and that's about kind of illusions and fantasy and imagination, to where, to me, this would say that a lot of this whole situation is maybe not how you perceive it to be, and that doing so might have some painful consequences. And unfortunately, that's probably not the pleasant news that you wanted to hear, but that's just what the cards are telling me. I would just leave it alone, man. Does that make sense? Yeah, unfortunately. One of the things I tell everybody too is because of free will, all these outcomes can potentially change. So I wouldn't say lose hope, but currently as it stands right now, it's not a wise choice. You got it. I hope that was helpful for everybody. I'm going to be on for... We'll see if anybody else comes on. Is anybody else coming on or no? We'll give anybody else another minute or two. So does anybody else have any other questions while we wait to see if anyone else comes on? Can you have a card? Oh yeah, absolutely. Sorry about that, Joanna. Let me do this real quick and we'll draw your card. So you have the reversed moon. Moon, I'm going to turn it right side up so you can see it more clearly. But the moon typically is about illusion or fear as well. And one of the things that I like to talk about it is about the subconscious. And it is also... that's what I'm looking for, about doing shadow work. So when it's in the reverse, there's kind of this denial of accessing, there's kind of this inability to access or face some of the subconscious patterns that you have or some of your own behavior, and it's creating problems. So if you look at it this way, this light of the moon is this light in the darkness, this beacon shining into your subconscious. And then the water is your emotions. So this is kind of lighting up some of the things that is in your emotional composition. And this, to me, would indicate this not desiring to look at some of your emotional reactions and take accountability for it. So it's kind of a heavy card. It's actually directly related to the Hermit in some way too, because if you add the 1 and the 8 together, you get 9. 9 is the Hermit, and it is the card of self-reflection. 1 and 8 would be the Magician and Strength, and this is about this individual who's trying to kind of power through something, when what they really need to do is slow down and look at their own behavior and see how it's affecting the situations in general. So it's really about personal accountability. And if you're able to take the personal accountability in the Moon card, then you would transition to the Sun card, and that's one of the most positive cards in all of tarot. But it's really about doing the work and kind of diving down into the depths of this and pulling out this pearl and processing it. The other thing, and this is the last thing I'll say, and yes, Jakara, you can ask more than one question if it's slow. If the stream was slamming, I would probably say no, but I'm only going to be on for a couple more minutes, so I can do a couple cards per person. But the other thing about the Moon is it's all about this cyclical change. So while there might be this need to access and face some of these deeper things inside of you, what will happen once you do is the flip side of that, and you'll be moving forward, and you'll, instead of being stagnant and stuck in one cycle of things, you'll transition to the next phase. So I would highly recommend that you confront that and move forward. And I hope that helps, Joanne. If you tell her that you like her, how will she feel? Not good is really what comes up. So you have Queen of Arrows, Queen of Swords in traditional tarot. The way that I would take this in this specific question is, this is this person who feels graceful and comfortable and able to move through their emotions. In the reverse, it's this person that feels overwhelmed by their emotions and it feels very uncomfortable to them. Then you transition to the Heartbreak card, 3 of Arrows or 3 of Swords in traditional tarot. This is about heartbreak, separation, or grief. And the reverse here, I would say that they would feel really, really uncomfortable and anxious. And then you transition to the next card where it is 4 of Pentacles. And this is about stability and security typically. It's called Protection in this deck. But in regards to your question, they would feel, they might not feel safe because they might have given you some signs that they weren't into you or that things wouldn't work out very well. But I don't get a good feeling from it. Like I said, you might want to pull back on giving them attention and just work on you. What's up, Chime? I hope I said that right. So Chime, if you're just tuning in, if you want to like the video and subscribe to my channel, I would appreciate that. And then for anybody else that might be watching on Facebook, if you would like to like the video and share this video, I'll give you some cards as well. So this whole thing about I scratch your back, you scratch mine type deal. So what's up, Chime? How can I help you? What is your question? We're going to be on for 7 more minutes, and then I got to go make dinner. Yeah, Chime, shoot. Yeah, Jakari, if she's been letting you know, just hold on and hold on a bit, and then make progress with it. In regards to Chime, is La interested in you? Every card came up as yes for that. You have 8 of Pentacles. This is them seeing that you have some kind of good skill. They really like how you show up to life in general. Then you have the Knight of Wands. Knight of Wands is really about energy, passion, lust, and adventure. So they really like your energy overall and how you pursue things. And then you have Two of Cups, which is like a smaller version of the Lover's card, is one way to put it. And it's about partnership and attraction, and it's about them kind of recognizing the good qualities in you. There's kind of this mutual attraction going on there. Does that make sense? Yes, no, maybe so. Oh, you're welcome. Thanks so much. I got 5 more minutes. We'll see if anybody else comes on. If not, I'm going to do one more general card. I'm going to mute this real quick while I shuffle, because it's loud as hell. Hey, what's up, Tessa? Sorry, I just turned the volume down so I could shuffle. Jakari, I'm going to give Tessa a card real quick, and then we'll go from there. Tessa, shoot your shot. What's your question? All right, Tessa, no question for you. I'm going to answer Jakari's question then. Does she want to be friends? Cards are coming up. No is this too, man. I'm trying to think of the best way to put this. I would just say give the whole situation a rest and don't worry about it so much, because I think that that's the most important card. The Lover's card came up in reverse, but I'll say this. Slow down with everything and just chill out and let it unfold. Look at Tessa. Will I ever get in a relationship with Eretz? I've never heard that name before. It's an interesting name. Cards are coming up in the no position. So you have Ace of Bows. That's Ace of Wands in traditional tarot, and it shows inspiration and creation, and it's in the reverse. So the reverse of that would be there's still good things that can come from it, but it might take a little bit more work and effort, and there's not like this big spark or move for them to do so. So I have a feeling that maybe you are friends with benefits with them or something, or there's been some intimacy, but there's not been any commitment, and I don't see that the commitment is coming, because when you transition to 9 of Pentacles, you then have this sense of gratitude and luxury, where they already kind of feel that they have what they would want, so there's no need to pursue things further, or that they already feel content or safe. And in this deck, it's called Tradition too, so there's already been this pattern set up where they don't really feel the need to change anything, which is unfortunate. And then you transition to 7 of Cups, which is about illusions and what's the word I'm looking for? Fantasy and imagination. And the general thing here is if you think they're going to deviate from how they've already been, you might need to relook at things. And you're most likely better off investing your energy in somebody else who shows up how you would like them to. Does that make sense, Tessa? Tessa's gone dark. Oh no. You're welcome. Thanks so much. Yeah, Tessa, if you don't mind, drop a subscription down in the right corner. I always get this switched up because it's like a mirror on the camera. Bottom right corner, hit that and like the video, and I would really appreciate it. Thank you so much. I got time for one more question. Marsh D, you're my last person. What's up? Last question. Yeah, I got you, Marsh. Ask one question, and if you could, subscribe, bottom right corner, like the video. It'd really mean a lot to me. And then shoot your shot so I can get off of y'all. And also, anybody listening, if you could make a donation to my fund up here, I'm trying to make $1,000 this month. All that money goes to helping for me to provide the best possible show for you guys. So just drop a donation if you can, and I would really, really appreciate it overall. Thank you so much. So what's up, Marsh? What's your question? Why is Aries acting so distant towards you? Okay. So you have Ace of Arrows coming up, Ace of Swords in traditional tarot. The reverse aspect of this would be the sense of defeat or disconnection from something. So going through something mentally, having this sense of mental disconnection. Thanks so much. I appreciate you. But they have some kind of mental disconnection. They're not feeling so good in their mind. So that's part of the reason why they're acting so distant. And then you transition to Seven of Bows or Seven of Wands in traditional tarot. And it goes into they don't really feel like they can put up with things right now. They're having a hard time dealing with life in general. And I don't know if they're a partier or something like that, but they're trying to mask some emotional stuff that's going on, and they're doing it in an unhealthy way. Oh, I'm sorry, this is actually Six of Bows. My eyesight's going. So it's self-confidence in progress. And because it was in the reverse, they're lacking self-confidence or the ability to make progress with things within themselves. So our relationship that we have with ourselves impacts every other relationship. So it's causing them to not be able to connect with you on a deeper way, and that would be why they're so distant. And the substance abuse thing still comes up. If they're into substances, they're avoiding their emotions. Regardless, they're avoiding their emotions in some capacity. And then you transition to the star card or the pole star in this deck. And that really is about, what's the word I'm looking for? Hope and renewal. There's this sense of them moving towards finding connection from everything, but they have to go through this really dark path that you can see that they're on. There is this guiding light where they're fixated, but they have to go through a lot of difficult things. And one of the things about this card, if you look at the one, it's about the magician and it's about the power and action to create stuff. But then you have the seven, which is the chariot, and it's about control and willpower. So this powerful individual is lost control of their willpower. So it's created this fractured state. But this whole sense of being fractured is allowing them to cultivate the potential situations that could help them regain it. But it's a matter of them continuing on the path and then also getting to a point of clarity where they're willing to make these changes. Because after this, you transition to the moon. And is the list closed? Lily, I'll give you one card after this, and then it is closed. And if you would like to subscribe, I'll be on again tomorrow too. I'm pretty much going to be on every day. But the last thing that I would say for you, Marsh, is the moon card comes up next. And if they're willing to face their subconscious and their emotions and then their shadow, then they can transition to the sun card. So it's this linear process of everything. Will they do it? It's yet to be seen, because I don't really believe in quote-unquote fortune telling. I like to call it... I like to tell people that I help them create their future more so than anything, and that any cards I show are the most likely outcome as things stand now. Because we have free will, all of it is potentially subject to change. Yeah, Lily, if you don't mind, subscribe down in the bottom right corner and like the video, and then shoot your question. It's going to be a one-card answer, though. All right, Lily, I'm just going to answer why are you still on his mind? So, you have 10 of arrows or 10 of swords. We're going to go with the traditional meaning of 10 of swords, and then we're going to go with what it means in this deck. So traditionally, 10 of swords means defeat, loss, or crisis. So there's this sense of him not processing things in a healthy way and it really hurting his ego. So he's trying to figure out why this happened, and it's more about self-obsession than it is ever about you. I get the sense that very self-centered person, and it's more of this sense of wanting to possess you than it is about understanding you as an individual or understanding the loss that occurred from that. Now, in regards to this, so you have instruction is what this says. There's this sense of him not listening to the course of right action and making poor choices. So for him, obsessing about that and making it more so about losing you than it about being about him making shitty choices relieves him of any wrongdoing. I hope that that makes sense. And if it would have been 10 of swords in the upright position, it would mean that that whole situation could cause him to change and grow and adapt and evolve. Because it's in the reverse, I think it means he's going to be stuck for a while. And it's honestly better that you just keep moving on and disconnect from it altogether. I have two more things that I'm going to tell you, Lily, and then I'm going to hop off of here. So you have 1 in the 0 here, which is the magician and the fool. But when it's in reverse, you have the fool, which is, we'll go with the energy of the fool in reverse, this impulsive, irrational person that rushes into things, but then transitions into the reverse magician who doesn't understand that their power to create has been misaligned and is creating all of this chaos because they're not taking personal responsibility. I hope that that makes sense, Lily, and I hope that this was helpful for anybody that saw it. And last time I'll say it, if you would like to leave a donation, you can contribute to this fund up here. It actually updates in real time or relatively real time, and that helps me out. And if you haven't already, like the video, subscribe to my channel or wherever you see it. And if you're on Facebook, please share this with people. I'm going to be growing this channel, and I really, really would appreciate your help because I'm helping you. Help me out. Share the love, people. All right. Have a blessed night, everybody. Peace.